one of my viewers actually went to Ghostfreak and told him my story or DM'd him my story because I was like pretty sick at that point.
Yeah.
And Ghostfreak was kind enough that he raided me, I believe, 5 days in a row, every
Oh,
single
wow.
day. And he was coming like with 300 to 500 viewers every single time. And that for me was just like, it was so kind and something I would never expect because I like to, like, I always usually stick to myself. I don't really, I'm very bad at networking. I don't reach out to others. I don't want to be the leech, you know? So I
Yeah.
would never think about leeching off somebody else or like hitting Ghostfreak to ask to play with me. And then
Right.
he started raiding me day in, day out, every day, 5 days in a row. And then he offered to play with me. And that was like one of the most stressful things for me at the moment. But like we've become very good friends ever since. And I love this man to death, to be honest.
Nice to meet you finally. How are you?
Nah, nice to meet you. I'm so sorry to keep you waiting for so long.
It
If
is
you
all good. It's all good.
you guys don't know, but Newf was trying to get me on the podcast for probably like 2 years, but like I have been moving, I have been sick. There's a lot of going on right now, so I'm very sorry for that.
It's okay, man. Well, welcome to the pod. So the way we start things off, we go with three random questions. So are you ready?
I am more than ready, yes.
All right. So are you a cat or a dog person?
I like to say I'm both, but I do have two dogs and no cats, so I assume it's more of a dog person myself.
There we go. All right. So you hit the road for a while. You're coming home for the first time in a while. What is your favorite home cooked meal?
My home cooked meal. Oh wow. Well, definitely my fiance cooking, as she's a great cook, and probably some like pasta, chicken,
Yeah.
maybe like teriyaki sauce, something like
Okay.
that.
All right. And then final one, favorite place you ever traveled to?
Where I live right now, because I actually moved to Madeira. It's a Portuguese island, and honestly, I'm loving it here, and I just such a great place.
Oh, awesome. And where are you originally from?
I'm from Poland.
Oh, nice. Cool. All right. So let's get rolling into this. So, so you're from Poland. What did you do before you found the go live button and Twitch?
So I was actually working for like CS:GO related websites with skins because they were pretty big back then. Even I think even like slightly maybe bigger than they are now, although not as expensive.
Yeah.
But like, so the story started with me actually getting sick, and I got sick to the point I literally couldn't leave my house. So I
Wow.
needed to figure a way like to be able to provide for the family in case, Valve shut down the skins or something. And my friends stopped playing games with me, and we actually stopped playing CS. So like I started playing Tarkov. I needed somebody to play with because I'm this kind of guy that just won't play games on my own because I find it boring. I need some
Yeah.
company. So I started streaming, talking to chat, and I don't know, it just snowballed from there.
Oh, wow. That is so cool. Oh, very cool. All right. So when did video games enter your life at an early age, or did you find them later on?
Actually, from the like since I remember, really, my brother used to play CS 1.5 in internet cafes.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I'm doing, but they had like that LAN party 5-on-5 from like with guys from another city, and they invited like they were missing one guy, so they invited me to play. I had no idea what I'm doing, but I was just running around and fell in love with CS right there.
Oh, shoot. And then, over the years, what are, some of your favorite games that, still have good memories of?
So I'm quite boring when it comes to that, to be honest, because all I played in my life is multiplayer FPS games, and that would be CS 1.5, 1.6, then CS Source, then CS:GO, then I started playing PUBG, then I started playing a little bit of Tarkov, and basically stayed there. I'm playing DayZ as well,
Yeah.
but like my main game are always gonna be the like FPS games, although I'm moving way more into like survival hardcore games right now.
Yeah, nice. And now what's your thoughts on the new CS, they released last year, I think it was, right?
So yes, so I stopped playing CS actually 5 years ago, but like the hype around this CS made me like come back to it. I reconnected with my friends that I stopped playing with before I started streaming, and now we are gaming like at least once a week. Obviously, everyone got adult, like they have kids and life, so it's not as easy right now. But like we reconnected and we are playing, and I actually love it. It's very nice.
Nice. And now, from a streaming standpoint, so when you first started, did you have other friends that were streaming or, were you the first one out of your group to do it?
No, actually, back in the CS days, one of my friends was streaming, and he was quite popular in CS world. But like, he stopped streaming, we stopped gaming. I didn't have any streamer friends. Just like I said, decided to go live to meet some friends online and talk to
Yeah.
somebody while I'm playing, and this is how it began, to be honest.
Yeah. And now, those first few streams you fired up, you had strangers coming in. It's kind of, must be a weird feeling at first.
It was a very weird feeling, although I believe like back then there wasn't that many streamers. It was basically like from the PvP standpoint, it was Ghostfreak and it was Warren for the like biggest streamers back then. So I was also doing something unique by basically only doing the PvP. And back then I had my nickname, like Robin_life, so people knew I'm streaming.
Yeah.
And like I killed a few guys every day, and they were coming to the stream. We were making friends, and I don't know, it's just a great feeling that now those guys are following me for like 55 months. It's such a great
Wow.
feeling.
Yeah. Speaking of Ghostfreak, so I had the team on my pod about a year and a half ago with Pest, Anton, Veritas,
Yeah.
Slush, and Ghostfreak, and we wrapped up the podcast, and we were talking about, they were talking, some people I should have on, and all of them at once were like, Robin, he is the nicest guy. You've got to get him on your pod, and just had so many
So
good
sweet.
things to say about you.
That's so sweet. Honestly, the team was like a dream for me to get into, and I was applying like 2 or 3 times, I believe, but they always rejected me for one or the other reason. But I think like they kind of split right now. It's not so much into that like
Yeah.
team streaming. But so yeah, there is that. But it was my dream. Actually, it was my dream.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Like again, they just spoke the world of you. So it was, just figure I'd pass that on to you.
It's very kind.
Yeah. So now from a streaming standpoint, those early days of streaming, what were some of those games?
So no, I started with Tarkov and always
Okay.
stick to Tarkov. Yeah, and like I mentioned, I had like my own thing, which was playing Factory 8 hours a day. I was like basically only playing Factory for the first like
Wow.
3 months. Yeah, but like that was giving me between 100 to 200 PMC kills every day. And at least few guys from those kills, or like they would kill me, they would come to my stream.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was fortunate enough that I went from zero to partner within 3 months, actually.
Holy cow. And now, when you got that notification about the part, getting Twitch partner, were you like, do you still remember it vividly, or was just,
No, I remember because I already was friends with Warren and Wheeler at that point, and I remember Wheeler like was rejected like 6 times, I believe, from partner, and he was way bigger than I was. So I was like so sure that I'm gonna send application. I made my sad story there. I was like how important it is for me.
yeah.
Um, but I was so sure they're gonna reject me. But when I did get it, I sadly wasn't live. But when I did get it, it was like one of the highlight of my streaming career,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Excellent, man. So now, speaking of, your streaming career, what's some of the hardest things about hitting that go live button every day?
Honestly, like people don't realize, I'm quite open about it because I believe that especially men should be talking about the mental health a lot.
Mhm.
But honestly, streaming, the hardest part about streaming is the mental health, the being on and like always in the mood, always happy. Because the truth is, once you are not yourself and you're a little bit like on the sadder part or don't talk as much, it's just simply not entertaining to watch. And if it's not entertaining, people won't watch you, or the ones that are gonna come to your stream, they'll be like, this guy is boring. I'm never gonna come again.
Yeah.
So like this is the hardest part, and I've been struggling with that quite a lot. But I did learn that there are days where you're just not meant to stream, and there are days when like you have to push through, and that's usually like ends up being the best streaming days ever.
Yeah, nice. And now, you're so right about taking those breaks because, nobody wants to watch somebody who's not enjoying themselves on stream. They could find 100 other people that are enjoying themselves on camera.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and there is always somebody you can relate to and somebody that can relate to you. So like I feel like being open about your issues and your problems is very important for the community too, because well, they relate to you. They relate to you as a friend, as a streamer, as somebody they maybe look up to or just watch, or spend time with.
Yeah, and it's also important to take some breaks. Get out there and touch grass. Get outside away from the whole social media and streaming side of things.
Very important and very scary as a streamer or as a like self-employed, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because again, as a streamer, you really are self-employed. You don't get the sick days, you don't get vacation time. You've got to figure out some way to make that all work and, take breaks and come back and maintain that viewership.
And the worst part is, people don't like to talk about it, but let's be honest, if you don't stream, you don't earn. Like, of course, you might have people that are subbing to you regardless,
Mhm.
but if you just aren't there for a week, you aren't making money for the week. So, like in this case, it's not like you can just sell something while you are not really working. No, you're
Right.
just, if you're not there, you're not there, and that's it.
Yep, absolutely. And then, adding on to that, if somebody's, thinking about streaming for the first time, what kind of advice would you have for them?
Honestly, so the streaming world changed a bit since I was streaming because back then it was enough for me to just go live, kill some guys, and that would, like I said, I was fortunate enough that I got from zero to partner within 3 months. But now the streaming world changed completely, and honestly, I would advise not to stream as much, just maybe dedicate 2 or 3 days, 4 hours tops for the stream, but outside of it, create content, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, create content and bring those guys into your streams because you're really not gonna grow just streaming anymore. It's not the same times as I was growing on or actually Landmark grew so much. It's not the same anymore. You're not gonna grow like that. There is like too many streamers, so it's different.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, do you remember those first time you got raided with that? Somebody brought their big raid into your stream. Here's your little 1 bedroom apartment, and somebody's taking their 24 bedroom mansion into your place. Well,
Yes.
any big ones that stick out?
Actually, yes. My one of my best friends out there, Ghostfreak. One of my viewers actually went to Ghostfreak and told him my story or DM'd him my story because I was like pretty sick at that point.
Yeah.
And Ghostfreak was kind enough that he raided me, I believe, 5 days in a row, every
Oh,
single
wow.
day. And he was coming like with 300 to 500 viewers every single time. And that for me was just like, it was so kind and something I would never expect because I like to, like, I always usually stick to myself. I'm very bad at networking. I don't reach out to others. I don't want to be the leech, you know? So I
Yeah.
would never think about leeching off somebody else or like hitting Ghostfreak to ask to play with me. And then he started raiding me day in, day out, every day, 5 days in a row. And then he offered to play with me. And that was like one of the most stressful things for me at the moment. But like we've become very good friends ever since. And I love this man to death, to be honest.
Nice. And now today, do you still sort of hesitate reaching out to other peers, or is today we announce that, hey, any peers out there that want to play with Robin, reach out. He's ready to go.
So when people reach out to me, that's awesome. Please do so. But I just really am bad at reaching out. I hate it. I feel bad. I feel anxious doing so, and like it's just who I am, you know. So
Yeah.
if somebody wants to play, sure, be my guest, contact me. But excuse me, but I'm not one of those friends that are like keeping in touch and stuff. I just really suck at that, and I'm sorry. I know it's something I need to work on, but even in my real life, I'm very bad at reaching out to my friends and just talking to them. Really.
No worries, man. And now, speaking of a stream, how would you just, if somebody's coming into your stream for the first time, what are they experiencing? What is a Robin stream besides
So
killing hundreds of PMCs?
yeah, so one thing they will notice is that I really take it slow. I am very bad at questing. I hate questing. For me, it's just boring. I don't like it. I take Tarkov in a different way. Like you could say that I take it from casual kind of perspective because I don't grind it. I don't go for kappa ever. Literally, that's boring for me. I
Yeah.
maybe reach level 4 traders when I'm like level 50 something because I'm just so slow with it. But I do PvP quite a lot. Like whenever I hear shots, that's what I focus on, and that's what you can expect. Very chill vibes. Like we don't really overreact. We're not like this. We're pretty chill, pretty down to the earth, and just doing our thing and minding our own business, basically.
Nice. And now, when you started out streaming and you were able to take this full time, was it just a gradual increase in your viewers, or were there some, big moments that really stick out that made you think, yeah, this could be my job?
Honestly, it was quite rapid increase to the point of like let's say 200 to 300 viewers. And that point, I realized that I can probably push it a little bit further.
Yeah.
So I decided to quit the job I was doing and just focus on stream. I was putting like 10 to 12 hours every day, and like thing about our stream is you're not gonna notice that like typical, oh, you should sub to me, stuff like this, because I believe that if people want to support you, they will support you.
Yeah.
And at some point when I've noticed, hey, that's enough for me, I don't need to like worry about my life anymore or like my income, that's when I just decided to go full time and just, paid off at some point.
Yeah. And now, from these drop streams, were you a part of the initial drops when they were doing the 24-hour streams?
I actually was, and that's also another story with Ghostfreak, because you know how like teams usually set up the raid trains
Raid
between each
trains, yeah.
other? Yeah, and they were lacking one guy between Ghostfreak and Klean actually. So Ghostfreak reached out to me and asked if I wanna be there. And that was the first time ever for me being in Drops event. And I got rated with like 60K viewers.
Holy
And
cow.
I ended up having 145K viewers at some point, and oh man, that was just something else. And again, that's thanks to Ghost Freak and the team that they put me out there really.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I've had, Clean has been on, another fantastic guy that we have in this community. But how hard are those 24-hour streams? I streamed just the other day for like 5 hours, and after that I was like, man, I don't know how they do it.
I gotta tell you that it all depends on how many people you have in the chat and how many people are actually active. Because when you are like sitting there and the chat isn't that active, personally, I feel it's even hard to stream, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours. But if
Yeah.
the chat is like just, constantly talking to you, the vibes are through the roof, I could do like 36-hour stream just like that, no problem. I did
Wow.
already few 24-hour streams and never been an issue as long as, the chat is helping you there and actually being active with you and talking to you.
Yeah. Oh, nice. And now, if you didn't go down this, streaming path, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
So I was fortunate enough, like I told you, that I was working for that CSGO website, and
Yeah.
that was actually work for my friend that he's still doing it up till today. So I believe
Okay.
I would just stick to that because I love working from home. I would never
Yeah.
want to go out there to work. I don't need that interaction with other people IRL, So like I
Yeah.
would probably be still doing that.
Ah, nice. Right. So now, this game Tarkov, how did you end up finding this game?
So when we were playing CS with my friends, we were looking for some other games because like also PUBG was up there at the moment, and we were just looking for new games. And I stumbled across it was actually the Jedi Raid 7. I'm pretty sure you know him. It
Yeah.
was before he rebranded to iRed 7, and I found his YouTube channel. I started watching it. I was like, this game is so punishing. It like really feels very hardcore and nice. And talked to my friends. We all bought EODs at that time and just started gaming together. They didn't get too hooked into that because they're more into like CS PUBG, but I
Yeah.
just fell in love from the very first moment. And anytime we weren't playing together, I would just be playing EFT.
Nice. And now, all these years and thousands of hours later, what is the hook the game still has on you?
It's still gonna be the same. There is not a single game like Tarkov that gives you that gunfights and that like feel of losing or winning stuff. And that's
Yeah.
for me the biggest. Like I personally hate questing, so that's one thing I never do. But the PvP in this game, just there is so many other games that are also hardcore, but not a single game gives you that like gunfight that Tarkov does.
Yeah, absolutely. And now for, when you first picked it up, what were some of the hardest things to learn about, playing the game for you?
Getting over the gear fear, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
on stream, you wouldn't see it because like I don't really mind whatever I use. But at first, I would be one of those guys that with friends, I was the most gear guy out there. But the moment they wouldn't be playing, it was just Paka, Mozit, and nothing else.
No way. Oh, that's awesome. And now for
Yeah.
new players jumping into the game, how should they approach it? Any advice?
Honestly, so I at some point I realized that hey, you're never gonna get better playing the game if you don't play with the gear that you wanna play with, right? Because it's important, and people don't realize that even the gear like helmet, like armor, it changes your sensitivity. You're never gonna be good at the game if your aim is just out like all over the place. So that's one thing. B, I mean, it's still gonna wipe anyway. We're still gonna have wipes. So like, if you don't use it, it's gonna be wasted anyway. And like, you just have to put yourself into that. You need to go there, fight, get over it. Basically, there is no shortcut to it. But one thing I would always recommend is to learn your own way to make money. So like you always have that, few 100,000 maybe saved out there. Prepare few kits. Like even even pack and modding, sure, but have like 5 kits ready for that. So if you die, you just rig it up and go back to it, and that should probably help you quite a lot.
Yeah. And now speaking of, you know, having gear kits ready to go, you know, Tarkov is a unique game with the stash. So as a streamer, do you sort of take care of the stash, get your gears, you know, get your kits geared up before you go live, or that's just part of your stream and part of the experience?
So the thing you'll notice on my stream, maybe not so much in early vibes, but a little bit later, is that I spend minimum time in my inventory, and I just make like I just try to make everything as fast as possible. So whenever I extract, I take whatever, or I die, I take whatever gun I have, maybe from my enemy. I just mod it slightly, put any armor, any helmet, and just go out there. I don't like to waste time. Like I don't stream as much as I used to right now because I cut my hours a little bit. So I just try my best to always be in raid and don't waste time, hide out questing or stuff like this.
Yeah. And now, you know, again, after playing thousands of hours, do you still get those adrenaline rushes?
I do, but that's mostly reserved for when there is like a team I'm hitting, like 4 to 5 players, and I'm the one that's gonna jump on them. And then I feel my heart is pumping, and like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to approach like a team, because obviously I'm on disadvantage, and that's the highlight for me whenever I play Tarkov. When I meet those teams, it's just something else.
Yeah. And another thing this game has given me is these flashbulb memories of certain things that I still remember years later, like this one raid or this one, you know, encounter or TK. Any, you know, memories that stick out for you, like that are still vivid from playing the game?
That's again gonna be Ghostfreak, because back in the day, I would meet Ghostfreak like at least few times a day on our servers, either customs or factory, and like I learned his patterns in a way of like he would only shoot gun 2 times in the beginning of the round, and I instantly called it's Ghostfreak. I'm not joking. You can ask him. He's like he watched my bots and he knows. Whenever I heard loud SE58 shooting, like tapping basically very fast, I was like, guys, it's Ghostfreak. And then my heart would be pumping, and I would be like, I need to kill him. Like it was always a nice challenge between each other.
Oh, nice. And now, do you prefer to play solo versus with a duo or a full, you know, full team?
No, I actually never squad up in a teams. For me, like more than duo is too much. I'm getting confused. Everybody's like, rushing for the PvP. I just don't enjoy it. Duo is the most I do, but I have to admit that solo is for me the way I enjoy it the most. And you're gonna see me 95% soloing basically.
Yeah, you know, when you roll three or more, man, this game, if there's one thing this game has taught me, we as humans, we are awful at communicating. You know, you get like, where are you? I'm over here. Chaos ensues from there.
Yeah, over there by the tree, basically.
Yeah.
That's the standard call. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, you know, when you start out on a fresh wipe, what's your approach just to get, you know, get gear as quickly as possible?
My approach is basically like the same as in the end of the wipe. I just take whatever I have. Like usually, I try to take the best kit I have at the moment, which would be probably pack and web, and just go out there, try to fight my way out. If there is not much happening, I'll be focusing on the quest. But whenever I hit the fight, it's just what I do. I don't loot much. I don't loot stashes really. Just I try to get all my stuff from the PvP actually.
Yeah. So now, as a streamer, you've built up your community. How would you describe the Robin community?
Like we like to bully each other and always make jokes about each other, of course, but maybe that's gonna sound kind of cheesy for some of you folks, but honestly, it feels like family, and like we look after each other. We communicate a little bit differently. Like we reach out to each other on Discord if somebody has a problem, and it just honestly feels more like family and friends than just like a streamer viewer community.
So another thing I see you're part of, Phoenix PC. Who are those guys?
Oh, they're the PC builders. They're a smaller company actually. I've been, well, to be honest, my contract ended probably like half a year ago. But I just love those guys so much, because they are really down to earth. They're looking after like their clients. They are, sadly, I mean, sadly, not sadly, but they are also being affected by that one company that scammed a little bit of content creators, including me, because they are also workers for them, and they got unemployed within a day because of what the CEO did there.
Yeah.
But they are working for their name, they're doing their best, and honestly, I just trust them. I love them. They made my PC. I have it for a year, more than a year now, and like I said, I don't even have to support them anymore because our contract ended, but I do it because I really believe in them.
Nice. That's awesome. And now something I think that is fantastic within the Tarkov, content creation communities is all the charity things that go on. And I see, you've done some charity work in the past. You want to talk about that?
I did do a few charities. I kind of paraphrased Pestily in this because he always was for the kid and I was for the dogs. I was doing charity events for animals mostly. There was one smaller place where had like which had a lot of dogs that like older dogs because they're taking care of like older animals that people cannot take care of anymore. Basically, they're going there not with hope that they're gonna have another home, but it's just basically like the last home for them.
Yeah.
So we've been supporting them. We fixed their sewers, we fixed their roof, we paid, we bought a lot of food for them, and yeah, that's actually what I was focusing on.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So now, when you disconnect from stream, what do you do what do you like to do away? You sound like you live in a beautiful place to begin with, so hopefully you're getting outside.
I am, yes, I am getting outside, and honestly, once I'm not live, I turn off my PC and I make my best effort to spend the time with my family, with my fiance, with my doggos. We go for hikes. We go to the ocean quite often. Now, well, it's technically winter. It's still 20 degrees here, but we're a little bit sick with my fiance, so we can't do nearly as much. But yeah, I'm trying to live my life because I moved like my sickness kind of taught me that life is very fragile and it might
Yeah.
literally end within like a night. So I try to make my best effort to actually go out there and live my life and enjoy it.
Nice. Yeah, and I know from talking back and forth, we share a sport, volleyball.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually stopped playing once I got sick back in the day, 5 years ago. But now I moved here, and Ola is also a volleyball enjoyer, and she joined the team here on Madeira. And then she told me that there is also a male team, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. And I did check it out, and now I'm playing again. I don't know
No way, that's
how that
awesome.
happened. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, actually, I started a volleyball podcast. My daughter started playing
I
volleyball, and I
know,
got Eric Shoji from Zaxa, who plays
I
professional
know. That's
bowling.
crazy. I've
Yeah.
seen your guest. I'm like, what?
Yeah, so that's crazy. Yeah, so yeah, volleyball is just such a wonderful sport. I know it's bigger over there than on this side of the ocean, but we just love it.
Volleyball was is huge in Poland. Not as much in Portugal, I would say, but in Poland, and
Yeah,
I'm Polish, volleyball is huge, and yeah, I love the sport so much.
yeah, excellent. So, any plans for this year? Any upcoming trips or anything like that you got going on?
No, I moved here half a year ago. We are still like trying to settle in. I still have to open my company here, so I can legally be here longer than only 6 months. So a lot of settling around and hikes. Madeira is known from hikes. There is like 200 different hikes in here, so there is a lot
Wow.
to discover, and this is my plan right now.
Yeah, excellent. All right. Well, Robin, it was wonderful to meet you, and
It was
thank you so much for
wonderful.
taking the time. But before I go, I gotta like all the other guests who've been on. Who do you recommend? Anyone in your group, your peers that you think should come on and share their story?
Honestly, yeah, I could recommend some of my smaller friends if you want. I can
Yeah.
even DM you because I have a lot of nicknames out there.
All right. Well, yeah. Send me a DM, and we'll get them on.
That's fantastic because I love to support my friends and usually they aren't as lucky with stream. They aren't full time yet. So if you want to get them in, that would be fantastic and I would
Hey,
appreciate that.
dude, my podcast is not about having the big names. It's about people who have good stories. That's
And that's why I love you so much, man, because it's really what you said. It's also that like family feel more than just, numbers.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, hey, again, thank you so much.